Hey guys, welcome. So in this video, I am going to answer the question that so many people ask us, which is, does eating at night make you fat? And should I stop eating a few hours before I go to sleep? So to answer this question with a simple answer, the answer is no. Eating at night does not make you fat. And do you need to stop eating a certain time before bed? No, not necessarily. Let's talk about the different points and why this is the answer. So let me actually answer this question with another question, which would be, does eating at lunch make you fat? Does eating at breakfast make you fat? You see how it kind of sounds a little weird now when I say other meals? That's the same thing. Does eating in the morning make you fat? No. Clearly, what it is this has become a trendy topic to talk about in the diet and fitness industry. And can overconsumption at any time of day, but at night, make you fatter? Sure. But there's a lot of factors. So what are some of these factors we're talking about that people, that we can help debunk this for you? The first thing would be, what's your total caloric intake for the day, right? So we'll say total calories and we'll say daily, right? So here's the thing is, even if you're sedentary, the average female is going to burn 1,200 to 1,600 calories per day. And the average male is going to burn somewhere between 1,600 to 2,100 per day. These are rough numbers, but what I'm saying is at a sedentary, non-exercise state, your body's going to require about that many calories to run every day for a long cumulative period of time on an average, okay? So what's your total daily calorie consumption? If you're a male who's eating 1,800 calories a day or 2,000 calories a day, it doesn't really matter, but you're working out a few times a week and you're walking around and that kind of thing, and you burn 2,500 calories a day. It doesn't matter what time of day you're eating these calories, because at the end of the day, the total math is going to add up that you were negative by, let's say it was 1,800 minus 2,500, so you're negative 700 calories for the day. You're not going to store fat. Your body is in what we call negative energy balance, where you ate less than you burned. It's going to have to make up for those lost calories from your exercise with fat burning. So if you're eating in a healthy deficit above that minimum daily calorie number that your body requires, but you're eating less than you burned, you'll actually probably lose fat cumulatively. It doesn't happen right at that time either. So that's the other thing is, well, we'll get into time in just one sec. But also real quick, total weekly calories. Total weekly calories, okay? So again, you could have a surplus day. So what if you're like, well, Taylor, I overate last night. I ate in a calorie surplus of 300 calories because I had extra ice cream last night. Okay, well, no problem. So, but what does your total week look like? Because the day before, maybe you burned in a deficit of 1,000. And the next day, what if you burned in a deficit of 700? Well, then what that means is you're still burning more calories throughout the whole cumulative week than just that one day. Fat storage doesn't happen immediately, you guys. It's more of a process, just like fat burning is a process. When you go work out and you burn 500 calories, you're not immediately burning the fat. You're putting your body into an energy deficit that it then has to make up for that energy through pulling body fat out and turning it into usable energy over a period of days, okay? So the next thing is time, right? Okay, so it's not gonna happen instantaneously. So let's just put this, not instant, right? So just because you ate in a 300 calorie surplus or 1,000 calorie surplus, whatever, at night doesn't mean that you're immediately gonna store fat. It's all relative to what you ate that day, what you've been eating throughout the whole week, your exercise, your total average cumulative caloric burn, okay? And it doesn't happen immediately. The other thing to consider is, what are you eating, right? So what types of food? Certain foods are more prone to be stored as body fat than others. Things like sugar, things like alcohol, those kind of things. But if you eat a chicken breast or a salad or a protein shake or some healthy, non-processed sugar yogurt at night, you're not going to be storing body fat. And these are just arbitrary foods. I'm just throwing out random examples. If you eat a piece of fruit even, if you have some berries at night, it's not like your body's going to say, oh, it's past 6 p.m., you're going to store that as fat now. That's not really how the body works, okay? So when we're looking at these things, just remember, actually ask yourself this. When you see a question like this, does eating at night make you fat? Or should I stop eating at a certain time of day? Flip it to an opposing statement or a comparable statement, right? Like, does eating in the morning make you fat? And then you can kind of put it in perspective and be like, that kind of sounds weird. That kind of doesn't sound like a real thing. And then you can start to realize, okay, this may be not a justifiable statement or a question that I really need to be concerning myself with, and I should probably focus on some more relative information. The other thing with this, I'm trying to remember what it was. I was going to make a point about this. So we had total calories that you keep eating throughout the day. If you end in a negative energy balance, then you don't have to worry too much because you're burning more than you consumed. Even if you have a surplus day, the weekly calories, if you're in a deficit, again, you're going to be burning more than you consumed. Oh, I remember. Where did this come from? Okay, so where did this statement come from? Does eating at night make you fat? There was some research done on healthcare workers, I think it was specifically on nurses and doctors, who worked night shifts, and how their bodies tend to be more likely to gain fat. They tend to be more likely to have lower insulin sensitivity and higher insulin resistance, which is something that leads to type 2 diabetes over time. Now, this is the big point, is it actually doesn't have to do with the food. Because they were saying, oh, well, these people they're nocturnal, they're working at night, and they're eating at night when our body's metabolic rates are typically the slowest. Okay, so there is, on the surface, it seems like some evidence of, okay, well, if you eat late at night, it means your body can't process it as well because we're not nocturnal. So that means that I'm more likely to gain fat and weight at night. Possibly. But the thing that you have to look at here is hormones. What are those people doing? What's the population that's being targeted? Night workers, healthcare workers, probably an environment that is, in some cases, highly stressful, and it's on a long-term chronic basis or with erratic schedules. So you're either chronically working nights or you're working like 3 on, 1 off, or 4 on, 1 off. And so you're working nights for 4 days, and then you have regular daytime schedule for 3 days, and then nights for 3 days and daytime schedule for 4 days. That throws your hormones off really bad, and so you end up getting a constant state of cortisol. And what that is, it's a stress hormone. And so your body is sending stress hormone signals of, hey, you're sleep deprived. Hey, your job is stressful. Hey, our bodies aren't designed to do this. Hey, your metabolic rate is slower. Hey, we're supposed to be recovering some of our anabolic hormones as we sleep right now. And so what happens is you end up staying up at a time over a chronic period of time with a stress hormone signaling to your body to break down muscle and to store fat. And that's over a long period of time, right? You also have to look at, are these fitness-oriented people? Are these people that are working out during the day or during their time off? Or are they sedentary individuals? And so that's why you always want to look at questions like these with a little bit of a skeptical eye and then ask the appropriate people, hey, is this something that's credible and should I do that? The last thing that I want to talk to you about is with this, does eating at night make you fat? Like we talked about with what types of foods. Now, some people do really well. They're like, oh, Taylor, throughout the day, I do really well. I'm eating super clean. I'm eating really good quality food. I'm super low on calories. But then at night, I just can't control myself. And that is self-imposed by accident. So you have to make sure that we are looking at things like willpower, right? So, yeah, you can barely read that, but willpower. if you eat 400 calories throughout the whole day and come dinner time, what do you think is going to happen? You're stressed from the day, you've eaten very little fuel, your blood sugar is very low, which will cause irritability, which will also cause a spike in hunger hormones, and you're just generally speaking, you're kind of tired. So and you're hungry. By that time of the day, the hunger is caught up with you. So by that time of day, you've lost your willpower to withstand the temptation to eat either excessive amounts or unhealthy quality, which is some of the things we talked about. So amount and quality. And so at night, you can tend to set yourself up for failure by overeating if you've set yourself up for failure earlier that day. So look at, what you're eating at what times of day. So I would just say set yourself up for success. And the way that I would do this is in a way that works for you. And typically what I see with clients is the earlier that they begin putting healthy, good quality nutrients in their body throughout the day, the better they tend to do with nighttime snacking, hunger, overeating, eating before bed, that kind of stuff. So I hope that was helpful for you guys. Let me know if you got further questions about that, but that should answer most of them. And we'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.